So I want to take a few minutes with this video to dive into several very interesting topics involving PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 emulation, being able to try any game before buying, the create button and what it could possibly do. I'll give you a hint, it's something Stadia promised but hasn't really delivered on just yet. First, let me know if you guys still care about backwards compatibility. We've spoken on this topic or about this topic several times now, and I'm wondering if the interest is still there. So comment below if you're still interested in backwards compatibility and being able to play older games. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story, which all of these are a part of the same story, but I'm breaking them into sections to focus on each individually. So looking into the first feature, the ability to try any game before you buy. If people remember back in 2013, this was a promised feature from Sony, one that really intrigued me and felt like the future. Being able to stream any game to play a bit of it right out of the gate, and then if I like it, I can buy the full game and experience it that way. It was detailed by the then CEO of Gaikai that Sony purchased to be able to build what we know now as PlayStation Now. Obviously, as we know, this feature never came to be and it's disappointing, but it seems like Sony might be bringing it back with the PlayStation 5. So Twitter user Renka Schedule, hopefully I said that correctly, detailed a Sony patent that went live on July 2nd. The user translates several sections of the patent that covers apparently various topics which we'll dive into, but let's start off with cloud demos and their translation on that section. Reading from Twitter, PS Store ? Information. When you move to the game icon, a simple image will be played. It is also possible to play the video. Trial version can also be started. Trial version data exists on the cloud and can be played immediately after selection. You can also purchase a mini version that you can play. If it is interesting, buy the main game. Both can be played instantly from the cloud. So from what I'm reading here, this sounds definitely like the promised feature, the try any game on the store feature from 2013. But one extra thing here is having mini versions of a game available, which sounds like just buying a part of a game, which I guess lines up with Sony's modular approach to next gen and only downloading what you want, such as the single player only or the multiplayer only of a game. I guess here you could possibly just buy part of a game, which is an interesting concept if I'm understanding it correctly. Or this could just be a demo you can download, and using the word purchase doesn't necessarily mean use money. Either way, it looks like the feature promised in 2013 could be making a comeback, but obviously this is still just a patent for now. Let me know if you guys would want the ability to be able to stream and try any game before you buy it. I personally would find that feature extremely useful and will save me a lot of money for sure, but what about you guys? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the second feature of this patent, the create button. So Sony revealed the create button with the reveal of the DualSense controller, replacing what once was the share button. They didn't give us any information, but just said, with Create, we're once again pioneering new ways for players to create epic gameplay content to share with the world or just enjoy for themselves. We'll have more details on this feature as we get closer to launch. Reading this, most thought this might be a way to integrate PS4's editing platform, Share Factory, into the button, which makes sense, but there was a possibility they could do stuff similar to what Stadia demoed with their Share State feature, which allows you to share your exact state in a certain part of a game with everything the same and give that link to someone else who can then open it and play that exact moment with everything you had. So everything exactly the same. I personally thought this was an awesome feature when I saw it at the Stadia conference, but let's look at what this patent has to possibly say about the create button. Reading from Twitter, cut gameplay, mini game, share, record the play situation during gameplay and analyze the area of interest. Create a mini game limited to specific scenes. You can also save it on the cloud and share it with other users to play. Could you only cut and play certain boss battles? Clear rate display and comments are also possible. I think the last part of this might be this person's addition to what was stated in the patent, but They also have the quote from end to end, so this could all directly be from the patent itself. Either way, so reading this, it's pretty clear that Sony is attempting their own version of the share state feature, and I'm all for it, honestly, but I wonder if it'll be abused. This is the same thing I wondered when I saw it at the Stadia conference. For example, with someone sharing every section of a game with someone else, I'm sure there's going to be restrictions on this, maybe a limited amount, or really you can only share this amount of the game, because I doubt somebody would sit there and share 1,000 sections of a game with someone else. Either way, I think it'll be an awesome feature for friends who want to compete with others and just share the game with somebody else who has the same exact thing, so there's no excuses, and you guys just try the same part of a game together at the same time and see who does better, for example. Especially for creators who want to share playthroughs with their fans as well. This will be an awesome feature for them. Let me know if being able to create mini demos and sharing them sounds like something you'd use or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And now, diving into the final feature I'm covering for this patent, PS3, PS2, and PS1 emulation. I'm just going to read the translated tweet right away because I have a good chunk to say on this. So, reading the tweet, a large number of game titles across PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and various generations of game consoles can be stored and used via the cloud gaming library. These games can be run on a virtual machine that mimics the operating system associated with each game console. So, right off the bat, this wording of mimic old consoles is stuff we've heard from previous backwards compatibility patents. While some might read this as something for PlayStation Now and only PlayStation Now, which it definitely sounds like it is, you also have to think about what hardware are they going to use to mimic these consoles, including the incredibly hard to mimic PlayStation 3. Sony has to upgrade their PlayStation Now servers to likely start using PS5s, similar to how Microsoft is going to use Series X consoles instead of using Xbox One S's like they are now for xCloud. And considering they say mimic, this doesn't sound like Sony will use PS3 server blades to still play PlayStation 3 games like they are now. They can take out the PS4 blades for a PlayStation 5 because PlayStation 5 can play PlayStation 4 games, but it would all be inefficient for them to have all of them in the cloud instead of just one machine, the PS5 being able to play everything. So, seeing mimic meaning emulation, this sounds like Sony intends to produce something that can mimic PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3, and will likely use that for their servers to allow those consoles to be played via PlayStation Now. And if that is the PlayStation 5, which I don't know what else it could be, that would mean we can play these games either through streaming, downloading via PlayStation Now. And if we're able to do all of that, I don't think fans will be happy if Sony restricts this behind PlayStation Now. Sony could very well just have PS3 server blades, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5 server blades to play all of these games. It's not some magic trick. They have these consoles modified and stacked in a server warehouse to be able to stream these games to consumers. But it would be very inefficient to use all of them instead of just one console, and at this point I would think Sony wants to move out those old PS3 server blades, and in order to do that they need something to emulate it, which sounds like it'll be the PlayStation 5. With all that said, as always, it's just a patent for now. We don't know if it'll ever happen, but logically it makes sense for it to happen. I guess we'll see. But you guys let me know if you think this finally means backwards compatibility is coming or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button as it always helps. And subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "let's talk about it." Because at this point, I think Sony just needs to come out and say, hey, we're not doing any of this backwards compatibility stuff, just PlayStation 4, instead of just leaving this open space of speculation that we all have and just sliding out these backwards compatibility patents that clearly seem to reference older generations. But if that's just me, that's just me. But if you guys feel the same way, destroy the comment section with "let's talk about it," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.